why are youth trapped in a lot of unhealthy relationships with sponsoresses, if I may call them so?
I think most young people are looking for financial support, and older people are looking for peers.
The lifestyle to live this kind of life like other my colleagues.
So for us, it always feels good to be loved, right? And you know the advantages that come with it.
Dad hana time yangu, so I'll go and look for a father figure, quote unquote, the one that I will express to. This is what is going on. My pant is torn. I do not have a pad. I need shopping. I'm in campus. I need makeup. I need wigs. I need heels. I need to slay. You see, that is why you find a lot of girls my age wanakuwa trapped in so many men.
One of the causes of girls or boys or youths being attracted to older people for dating or as spouses is what we call psychological conflicts. And these psychological conflicts come about as a result of this. According to one of the fathers of psychology, a guy called Sigmund Freud, he said that one of the development stages of a child, which he called the phallic stage of development, which is between the age of 3 years and 6 years, the children tend to be attracted to the parent of the opposite sex. So if it's a boy, the first person the boy falls in love with is his mother. If it's a girl, the first person the girl falls in love with, it is the mother. It is the father. So what happens during this stage is that this child will want to hug the father, love on the father, you know. So if this girl missed out on a father figure at that point where she needed to fall in love with a father figure, then we call that fixation. They become fixated at that stage where they desire to fall in love with an older person and it is not satisfied. So even when they grow up into the age of 18 and above, this child, and you find girls in school who have crushes, while every other girl is crushing on boys their age, they are crushing on the teacher.
Yes.
True story.
True.
Yeah, because
Very
daddy
true.
was not there for them to fall in love with. And vice versa. For the boy whose mother was never there, they are crushing on the female teachers and admiring their figure because the mother was not there for the child to fall in love with. So what happens when this child grows up? Because there's still that gap and looking for a father in every man, then they will be drawn towards father figures who are the sponsors now. So sometimes it's not always, it is sometimes about the money, but it's not always about the money. Sometimes some of these girls are actually falling in love with those older men, and they cannot stand the thought of having a younger person with them. And vice versa, the guys also who are looking for mothers. Women who look like mothers are the ones they fall in love with.
Hello guys, and welcome to yet another episode of the Youth of Life program, a program that comes to you every Saturday at 5 p.m. on our YouTube channel and also Facebook channel. If you search Youth of Light, you're going to get us there, and also you'll be able to find the various topics that we have discussed about. Today on the show, before I even give you what we are going to talk about, I want to introduce you to the panel. On my farthest left, we have Valentine Rufina, no new to you on this show. Then my immediate left, we have Anne. She's been with us for a lot of times right now, my co-host. Today she's in the panel too. So I'm the only one man solo here today. Then to my immediate right, we have Trizah Macharia, our guest today. She will be speaking to you about unhealthy relationships that we will be covering today. So before I fully introduce her or give her a chance to tell us more about herself, I want to give you what we are talking about. Today we are looking at a certain parameter within relationships and love. That why are youth trapped in a lot of unhealthy relationships with sponsoresses, if I may call them so. So there are a lot of unhealthy relationships that are coming up, and so we have so many unhealthy relationships outside here. amongst the youth. We want to see at what causes these relationships. What leads the youth to just get entangled with other people and find themselves in situations they can't take themselves out of. Then we will see if you have been there and you have difficulties coming out. We want to give you help, because today at least we have an expert in these things. So welcome so much, Trizah. And I will want to give you at least some time to introduce yourself well to our viewers.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
You have already introduced me, but I will do it again.
Yeah.
My name is Trizah Macharia, and I am a counseling psychologist by profession. I run a program mainly for women called the Virtuous Woman Program, where we train women on marital issues. But based on my profession, I am hopeful that the Lord will use me today to speak on this unhealthy relationships, also being a mother of some youths.
Sure. Coming from first-hand person, that at least will help us so much. And being a psychologist, psychological counselor, you really give us a lot of advice on what the youth need to do to get outside. So to get the show started, I want to start at the causes. What is pushing the youth so hard to get into those relationships that we are branding them unhealthy? Why are they finding themselves? If it's ladies, they really have older men with them. I don't know for what purpose specifically. If it's gents, you'll find them with old women. Outside there, you won't actually know the sole purpose of this relationship. So, Anne, what would you say is the main cause of these unhealthy relationships that that is trending among the youth nowadays?
Okay, I think most young people are looking for financial support, and older people are looking for peace. So if you ask me, basically, those are the two causes of having unhealthy relationships, both from older people to young people, younger people to old people. Yeah.
I'm getting that point. They need the young people need money. On the other side, the older people need peace.
Yeah, some sort of peace.
Okay,
I don't know why they don't
we
get
do that
their
peace
homes.
in court. Okay. Okay, I get that. Valentine, would you have some other causes as to why the youth have these unhealthy relationships?
Yeah, some of the causes could be lifestyle, because I want to live this kind of life like other my colleagues, like other people. Sasa nikiangalia maisha yangu naona there's no way I can get that kind of life. So I have to do, because this man is there who can support me fully. I can easily access that lifestyle.
So, Madam Trizah, let's actually from the word go base our arguments on the search for lifestyle and money. As youngsters, we actually want to get that posh kind of life outside there. And it's not easy. There's no money in Kenya. So we are really looking for those solutions. So even before you go, before you give us on even other factors that are pushing the youngsters to get into these unhealthy relationships, how are we managing to get these kids to just stop looking at the other end of the world when they are still here? You are still at your 20s and you want to live that lifestyle at for someone at 40s. Yeah, how can you just at least help them to at least live within their means in the meantime?
You know, contentment is a state of the heart. So for someone to be content with the kind of lifestyle they have, it comes from discipline that maybe is instilled from the family level. It comes from values and virtues based on maybe your faith, what you believe in. And that is not something you can teach someone. You cannot teach someone to be content. That is a value, it's a virtue, and it can only be caught. So what maybe can be done about it is empowering the youth to understand. I had someone say that wealth is not sexually transmitted. But you cannot get wealth by sleeping with someone else. Also empowering the youth to know and have confidence in their own abilities. But you cannot teach someone to be content. Ridhika na hii maisha, you cannot tell someone that. Because everyone, within every person, there lies the desire to excel.
Yeah.
And what now needs to be, what they need is an awareness of you can excel without necessarily having to loosen yourself or loosen your morals. That would be my take.
So you can't teach someone to be contented. Even from a parent view, isn't there a way I can just teach my my kids how to just get contented with whatever we have, the sukuma ugali we are doing, even at their point in campus life, to at least make sure they are still contented with that life?
That is something, and I say it can only be taught in your upbringing. That time when, and being taught to say no, which we have a generation of people who do not know how to take no for an answer, and what they want it now. And that has been taught at home. So you cannot now tell somebody who has grown up knowing, if I want a sweet, I must get it. That now you can no longer get this sweet. So they will do whatever it takes to get it because they have never been taught contentment. So what you're saying is right. That can only be taught when a child is growing up. That when you get your firstborn child, do you have one?
Yes, I do.
Right. That you teach that child that they don't need to get everything they want. You can want and not get it.
Yes.
Even when you can see it. And those are values now that the child grows up with. But now, a person who's 18, according to psychology, we believe, a certain branch of psychology believes that you stop developing at the age of 18. So if you are at 18, you have already developed all your values, you have already developed all your beliefs. I cannot now start
instilling anything else.
Yeah.
So the chances of me changing are really 0.001.
They can, but it takes now a self-awareness. It calls for self-awareness, realizing that this way I am is not the best way. And now you start working on it as an individual, not somebody telling you. Even when you hear it, it takes you to choose to take that new value that they are teaching you.
Wow.
Let me ask a question. Do you think challenges may cause someone to fall into this temptation?
Yes, but I also know some girls in campus who have been washing clothes for others to make the money. So it's a question of choice, that even in those challenges, what choices are available for you? What choices are you seeing available for you? Yeah, are your eyes just closed to the fact that I can only get a sponsor to get what I want or need? Or are you seeing other opportunities around you?
Okay, Anne.
Yeah.
I want us to look in the outside world. Let's just look at Kenya, for example. For a youth, just assume you have not come from a very wealthy background. Wewe ni ule mse, kwenu ni hustlers, and then you're outside here, you're hustling for a job. Is it easy to keep these values? Is it easy for you, were instilled in you while you were growing? Still, back in the days when our parents were bringing us up, you couldn't just ask for the sweets like the kids are doing right now, and they are forcing you to even go buy raincoats for them, right? So at that time, life was tough. They would beat every stupidity out of you, and you get. But right now, things are really hard. So do you think for that kid who is outside there not getting that support they want, is easy for them to keep those values in them?
Okay, I think we're in a generation whereby the parents that we are today, because the three of us are parents, mom is a parent too. I think mom is a grandma, right? Almost a grandma.
Hopefully, Hopefully
It
I'll
will
get
come
there.
soon.
Okay, so the age of Madam Trizah is one generation upper than the generation that we are in. We are in a generation whereby when you compare the type of generation that Madam Trizah here is in, and the generation that we are in, it's ni kama almost maji na mafuta, but si sana. You see, because whatever morals that we were taught when we were growing up highly likely are not the same morals that you are passing to our children. You see, because if I come, or if a parent in my era comes home in the evening after having a very tired day, a tiresome day, the first thing, hata kuwa na hiyo time ya kujaribu kucancel mtoto, how have you been, how was your day, who harassed you, I'll come, I'll go to the bed, to the bathroom, take a shower, try and see what's trending on Facebook, what's trending on Twitter, what's trending on Instagram, and then maybe I'll give my child the phone to watch Cocomelon and stuff. So we do not even have the time to try and understand or listen to our children. You see, that's why if a child comes and tells me, "Mama, anataka skateboard," I'm like, "Oh, okay. Ni how much? Fine. Nitakuba hiyo ni next birthday, ama nitakubaia saa 2." You see, a child will come and tell me, "Mama, sitaki kukula githeri." In our days, if I could tell my mom I don't take githeri, naenda bed directly nikiwa njaa. You see,
it would have been just a direct attack. You just can't allow yourself to tell your mom that, "I don't want ugali today. I don't want this today." You couldn't even have the guts to say so.
Yeah, but siku hizi they have mpaka wanakwambia, "Wewe mama, wewe nitakuchapa," and you just they're like, "Baba unaniambia hivyo?"
Yes.
In our days, slippers
And
really
even,
worked.
And even some robes.
Not even slipper, slap.
Slap.
So, Madam Trizah, I want, can you give us a formula for being tough? Because, and ensuring at least we make time for the kids. Because our schedules are really hectic. You got to look for money to upkeep that family, for the school fees of that kid. Everything is all on you. And again, there's this system outside there. At the school, the kid will see some other kids having this. When she or he comes home, then you expect the same thing to be asked of you. And nowadays, you know the rules. You can't beat your child as such. It will just be termed as child abuse, you know. So there's this trend of growing up just knowing it's life. You are not supposed to be beaten. Is there a formula for making all this work for our own good?
I think that would be a whole parenting topic, yeah? But what my belief is that when you get a child, if you just give birth to a child and feed them, that child will grow. Eventually, they'll become someone. They will go past, and you educate them and give them everything, they will still grow. But it's you, the parent, who needs to be intentional and deliberate about what kind of a child, what kind of an adult am I bringing up my child to become. It has to be, the Bible says that children are arrows. So you need to find out this arrow that I have been given, because God says it's a reward, it's a blessing. Where am I shooting it? Where are you targeting what you're doing with this child? Because when we neglect the children, they'll still grow up. But that is where now, because from a generation, even up to our generation, there have been parents who are not there, which is one of the causes of girls or boys going towards older men and women as spouses, or even dating them. Are you available for that child? I've seen a culture in maybe the European countries where they just decide, I'm not going to have children because I do not have time to bring up these children in the way that I would want them to grow up. Maybe we need to get there. Do you think you have time to raise a child? If you do not have time to raise a child, please don't give birth to a child, because then you are raising people who will become nobodies in society. Watu watakuja kutusumbua hapa bure kwa sababu ulizaa na hautaki kulea. Because bringing up a child is not just about feeding them. It has to do with everything about that child. You should be raising a child who is employable. Can the child you're raising work? Are you teaching them how to work? You need to raise a child who's marriageable. Can that child you're raising be somebody's wife? Can she be able to submit? You're raising somebody's husband. Can they be responsible enough to provide and lead a family? And those are things that when you give birth to a child from the age of 0, you should start thinking, this person I'm raising is going to be an adult in future. And what kind of a person do I want them to be? And that is a whole, as I said, course in parenting.
Yeah. So back to this. There was this point about peace. There's this peace. These older people want with the youngsters, I would call them. And then we as young people, we just always feel good to be loved. You see, when someone with a high-end Lexus there just stops on the road, me with my shoes, and then says, hi, I can give you a lift. And you can see where that is heading to, yeah? It's really hard to resist that, So for us, it always feels good to be loved, right? And the advantages that come with it. So we actually Anne had brought that issue with money and peace. And then as youth, we find ourselves falling for that. After that, what ends up, we end up into a relationship. Of course, it's toxic because, okay, unless otherwise stated, if this youngster, this is an older person, that relationship is not working because your goals are too different. I'm only after money. And I want money to also build my own life. And this life I'm building, you're not included while you're the one providing for the money. So I want something around that. How can you bring up that awareness for us to be able to resist that feeling of the goodness that comes with all this stuff?
Okay, before Madam answers, I have a question for you. Okay, as a parent, okay, parenting is good. I have this child. I have nurtured her to be the girl I want. Up to what age naweza mwachilia? Because when it reaches a certain age, as youth, wazazi wanawachilia, and then anakuwa yeye peke yake. So I want to know ni age gani yenye inafaa achiliwe?
By kuachilia means what? Holding them accountable?
Yes.
Because you don't, even my mother has never stopped
holding
me accountable.
There is this stage whereby umemsomesha after campus, then you're on your own. So when you're on your own, you find it, you have all the free time. Hakuna ile parents ile mzazi anakuangalia unafanya nini ama nini. At what age should we give them their way?
Especially as a mother, you never stop being a mother. That's a lifetime job. Which means
okay. Some parents when they are 18, you are now an adult. Enda huko nje ujitafutie, ufanye vitu zako. You know what I mean?
So what I wanted to say was this, that even as an adult, your child still needs guidelines. They still need guidance. Because where they are going, you have been there. There's a saying, I think in Nigeria, that what a young person can see standing, an older person will see sitting down. So you'd never stop giving guidance to your child. As far as responsibilities are concerned, a good parent should always be willing to support their child, regardless of what the age is of that child. There are parents who say after 18, sasa you are, wewe ni mali ya serikali.
Wewe ni mali ya chief actually, so you can vent for yourself, you can give yourself whatever you want.
And that could be the reason as to why they engage into these activities, simply because the parent is not close the way you used to be while you are still young. Sasa uko na time yako, you can do anything you want.
But you don't want to mean kuachiliwa na mzazi bado ni is a cause for you to get into an healthy relationship.
Mama yuko, daddy hayuko.
It is in some way in that dad hana time yangu, so I'll go and look for a father figure, quote unquote, the one that I will express to, this is what is going on. My pant is torn. I do not have a pad. I need shopping. I'm in campus. I need makeup. I need wigs. I need heels. I need to slay. You see, that is why you find a lot of girls my age wanakuwa trapped in so many men. Manake huyu, this one will give you that money for personal growth, personal makeup, nini. Man X will give you money for rent. Man Y, whenever there's a problem at home, manake, you know, when you go home sasa, people are wanakuona,
umeng'ara jo, so they will have to ask for that.
Hawezi kosa pesa, hawezi kosa. So there's man Y who makes sure that you have personal upkeep. Unaona? So at the end of the day, this girl is hajui maana ya love. She doesn't know. She only knows that if I run to this man, I will get money. If I'm walking and then I spot a V8 in a driver mahali, and then that man maybe stops, I can go and approach that man and I will get something out of it. Because eventually it is a character development strategy, strategy that girls develop or young boys develop. See, I was having a chat today with my friends earlier on. And one of them was telling me, you know, I cannot have less than 10 girls at a time. And I was like, how do you manage 10 girls at a time?
Monday, like, Tuesday up to Sunday.
10.
Oh,
like he can't operate
7.
With less than 10 men, with less than 10 ladies. So I was like, how? Teach us your ways, master. Tell us, how are you doing this? So akaniambia, it's very simple. I am very straightforward from the word go. I tell them, I am a polygamous person. I do not like serious relationships, but I can be your best friend. I will tell you a stuff that maybe your boyfriend will not tell you. So whenever that guy like approaches a girl, and then maybe the girl says, I have a boyfriend, whatever comes into the mind of that young man, because he's not very old, whatever comes into his mind is, huyu amesema akona Charlie, but again, he doesn't mind doing this. You see? So whatever character that people develop at a certain age, hiyo ndio inawakuza. And it also brings us to the point that hatuna wakati na watoto wetu, manake we sired children with men that we never even wanted them to be husbands. We sired children due to tulienda one night stand with a person and I got pregnant. It was not my intention to give birth. Okay, I love my son. I had the intention of giving birth. Maybe this is not for you, but I'm talking in the mind of a young girl my age, a campus girl my age, you see? Yeah.
Yes.
I love something she has brought up. The issue of parenting, because that is, and I think my other panelists also had brought it up. One of the causes of girls or boys or youths being attracted to older people for dating or as spouses is what we call psychological conflicts. And these psychological conflicts come about as a result of this. According to one of the fathers of psychology, a guy called Sigmund Freud, he said that one of the development stages of a child, which he called the phallic stage of development, which is between the age of 3 years and 6 years, the children tend to be attracted to the parent of the opposite sex. So if it's a boy, the first person the boy falls in love with is his mother. If it's a girl, the first person the girl falls in love with, it is the mother. It is the father. So what happens during this stage is that this child will want to hug the father, love on the father, you know. So if this girl missed out on a father figure at that point, where she needed to fall in love with a father figure, then we call that fixation. They become fixated at that stage where they desire to fall in love with an older person and it is not satisfied. So even when they grow up into the age of 18 and above, this child, and you find girls in school who have crushes, while every other girl is crushing on boys their age, they are crushing on the teacher.
Yes.
True story.
True.
Yeah, because
Very
daddy
true.
was not there for them to fall in love with. And vice versa. For the boy whose mother was never there, they are crushing on the female teachers and admiring their figure because the mother was not there for the child to fall in love with. So what happens when this child grows up? Because there's still that gap and looking for a father in every man, then they will be drawn towards father figures who are the sponsors now. So sometimes it's not always, it is sometimes about the money, but it's not always about the money. Sometimes some of these girls are actually falling in love with those older men. and they cannot stand the thought of having a younger person with them. And the vice versa, the guys also are looking for mothers. Women who look like mothers are the ones they fall in love with. So it is a gap in the growing up of this child. And something else also about growing up, the birth order. You see, for most firstborn girls, we tend to be, because I'm also a firstborn, we tend to be given a lot of responsibility growing up.
Yeah.
Like you are made the mother of the rest of the family.
Yes.
So what happens? You tend to mature faster. You grow up among adults. The other children will come and find another child because you will be there. But you grew up and found adults in the house. So what happens? You grow up like an adult. So when you grow up, you look at your peers who you should be dating, and they look like
they are just kids.
Sasa haka kananikatia, sasa kanaanza wapi haka?
Much more mature, much more responsible. Your thinking capacity is much higher than young men that you should be dating. So that is also one of the other causes. It's not, sometimes it is about the money, yes, like she said, but sometimes it's also about your birth order, how you grew up. Children who are rejected by their fathers, they tend to look for a man who looks or is the age of a father who will accept them. Yeah, and some of those things are in the unconscious. So this girl sometimes is not even dating this older man thinking, I want an older man because my father was not there. But something just within them is drawn towards that kind of man.
So before even going to the disadvantages of these unhealthy relationships, I want us to see it, to turn it around and see probably why also are the older people also leaving their spouses just for the youngsters also at the same just the same rate at which we've seen how the youth now we have various causes. The fixation part, actually that is a very deep point. And the birth order, money, lifestyle. So why are they just stopping at the highways with their V8 just for us? Seeing this age, huyu mjamaa ako tu sawa. Why are they coming? Why are they coming back to us? Let me start with Vale before you tell me whether there is a psychological bit about it. So why are they? Why do you think they are preferring us?
I think one of the reasons is a peace of mind.
They are not getting peace at home.
You see, no, it's a peace of, what I mean is when you get home, you get an nagging wife. The wife is not doesn't take care of you the way she used to be. All the time, our concentration is on the house chores. You are there. You want to be William relationship. Your wife doesn't have time with you. So when this guy comes to me, I have all the time with her. I will pamper this guy. Everything I'll do for him. Unlike, you see, this is a different situation. Ameenda huko, but akiingia tu hivi, hatuna unga, hatuna hii. This shopping you did is not. But if she comes to me, I will not ask for those things. Because
what do you want?
First, I will have to take care of him before asking for anything.
Okay. Ish. And why do you think they are preferring us?
Okay. I think, or I have heard among men, that men are attracted to what they see compared to what they feel. So an old man comes and approaches me, and I tell, and maybe I ask him, sasa wewe daddy baba unatafuta nini kwangu? And he's like, okay, number one, bibi yangu this and this, nikiingia tu kwa nyumba nampata mpaka kuna sijui na t-shirt ya ng'ombe na floppers, socks zimeraruka, akinishika ndevu nanuka tu kitunguu saumu. You know, okay, not all it against me. So I think some of these factors, like maybe the wife is stopped looking attractive or got comfortable in that I got married, I have kids, I have everything that I need, so hakuna place utaenda. And the man maybe wants something more. Tukidate na wewe, you used to put on maybe something short. I would like to see that a little bit sometimes. Yeah, maybe a B&B somewhere. you know.
Mm.
Yeah, so the things that maybe they used to do pale kitambo, unaona. Now with the siring of kids, with the so many projects to be done, so many things to be accomplished, maybe the woman got comfortable. Yeah, we gave birth, we give birth to the firstborn, tukafunga nini. Sasa we are on the third born. Me, I forgot how to funga, and so I have just like a sagging stomach, and I'm so good. And maybe they do not want that. That's why wanatafuta kaslekwen pale kame kako. You know what I mean, right? Yeah.
Okay.
With a figure and stuff.
So, Madam Trizah, you've had those points. Is there a psychological bit about it?
You know, if an older man was looking for peace, he would not look for a younger girl. But let's also start by defining older. Let's assume we are talking about extramarital affairs with older.
Yes,
people,
because a lot of them, they are extramarital. Yes. Because a lot of them are married people just approaching young girls.
All right. So for the men, sometimes it's an ego thing. Because most of the men who will approach younger girls that we would call sponsors are men past their midlife. And what a man is going through in his midlife, part of it is thinking, I used to be, in midlife, you'll not be looking the way you're looking at 45. Probably if there'll be a bit of money, kitambi itakuwa imekuja, the hairline might have resided. And it's something that actually affects a man's ego because he's thinking, am I still attractive enough? So getting a younger girl for him is trying to reassure himself, I'm still as good as I was when I was younger. Getting that girl to bed is trying to reassure himself because sex is a very central part of a man's masculinity. He's trying to reassure himself, I'm still as energetic as I was when I was younger. So most of the times it's not even a peace at home kind of thing. It's actually an ego thing for a man. That I want to reassure myself, I'm still as attractive, I'm still as strong and energetic as I was when I was younger. On the other side, for the women, sometimes it's a sensual and sexual thing for the women when they go for the younger boys. And again, going into the midlife of a woman, if I'm in my midlife, I'm somewhere between 50 and 40. So what happens to us at that time? Our husbands, my husband is in his 50s. A man in his 50s is at a stage now where his sexuality kind of is shifted on the downward trend. He's not as sexual as he was when he was younger. So now the woman on the other hand, nimelea watoto wameondoka, sina stress as a house girl. I start getting beautiful again. I know how to do my eyebrows. Some of you girls haven't even done yours.
Please.
I start now, I become more relaxed. And so what happens? Even my body begins to become sexual again. Na unaona mzee pale, yuko kwa stage yenye sasa akili, mwili imekataa mambo ingine kwa sababu akili is focused now on more important things in life. Like building a legacy, making sure that I have an inheritance for my children. Sa hiyo ndio wananunua buroti maguta wakijenga maflats, at that age. The woman here now is a youth again with a sexual appetite that matches that of the teenage boy. So they look for a young man with a matching sexual appetite to satisfy them.
Allah.
Oh yes.
So it's actually the matching of the sexual appetites for most ladies. Most ladies are also looking for a young man they can control. But majorly, older women who go for younger boys, it's sexual and sensual.
So, hey, my viewer, today you're hearing it from the expert's mouth. Having heard it from the expert's mouth, that forms our part 1 of unhealthy relationships. So, kindly follow us and be sure to catch us on our part 2 about disadvantages and the solutions to these unhealthy relationships. Thank you.
Youth of Light, shining light to the youth.